Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into something pretty significant happening with Blackrock's tokenized fund, BUIDL.
That's right. We've got this Bitcoin.com news piece detailing some, well, explosive growth.
Yeah, it's all about these tokenized funds basically taking traditional assets like bonds and putting them onto a blockchain. Real-world assets, RWAs,
A really hot topic lately. And BUIDL seems to be leading the charge, or at least making waves.
So our mission today is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Figure out why BUIDL suddenly saw this massive jump and what it might mean, bigger picture.
Exactly. Think of these funds as making things like treasury bonds, potentially more accessible, easier to trade, maybe.
Right, putting them in a digital wrapper.
Yeah, and BUIDL's recent performance, it really shines a light on the momentum building in this whole RWA space.
Okay, let's get into the numbers because they are kind of wild. The article mentions that around March 8th, 2025, which was just 6 days before the 14th BUIDL, had about $668 million in assets under management, AUM.
Right, the total value locked in the fund.
Exactly. Then, just 6 days later, it shot over $1 billion.
Wow.
That's a 50.3% jump in less than a week.
It's not just the amount, it's the speed, isn't it? That really says something about the appetite out there.
Totally. And like the article says, this surge made BUIDL the #1 tokenized treasury fund based on that AUM figure.
A new leader in the space, basically overnight.
And it's not just us noticing. Carlos Domingo, he's the CEO of Securitize, the company actually issuing BUIDL.
The platform behind it.
He called it a significant moment for on-chain finance, said BUIDL set a new standard. That sounds like a pretty big claim.
It is a strong statement, and, if you zoom out a little, this isn't happening in a vacuum.
Right, the whole market's moving.
Yeah, the market for all tokenized treasuries just passed $4 billion around that same time, March 8th. And now, it's already at $4.4 billion, according to rway.xyz.
So BUIDL's massive growth is part of this, broader uplift in tokenized government debt.
Precisely. Though BUIDL's jump is definitely the standout story.
True. And there are others playing in this field, right? Like the hashnote short duration yield coin, USYC.
Yeah, USYC. They're sitting around $868 million AUM, so still pretty significant.
And Franklin Templeton's BNJ fund, the Franklin On-Chain U.S. Government Money Fund. That's got, about $689 million?
Right, so there's competition, but BUIDL just leapfrogged them, at least for now.
So why BUIDL? Why this sudden surge? Accessibility seems key.
It looks like it. Securitize mentioned integrating with Wormhole.
Ah, the cross-chain bridge.
Exactly. Think of it as letting different blockchains talk to each other, move assets around more easily.
So BUIDL isn't stuck on just one chain.
Nope. It's now on Optimism, Arbitrum, Polygon, Avalanche, and Aptos. That opens it up to way more potential users, more ecosystems.
That makes a lot of sense. More on-ramps, potentially more investors. The article mentions 557 token holders currently.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to track that number, see if it grows alongside the AUM.
Definitely. And BlackRock themselves seem pretty pleased. Joseph Schlum, their head of strategic ecosystem partnerships.
Right, from BlackRock.
He talked about being excited by the accelerated growth and gave a nod to partners like Securitize and BNY Mellon.
Suggests this isn't just an experiment for them, right? They seem committed.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. Now, looking ahead, this is where it gets, potentially huge.
The forecasts.
Yeah. The article mentions analysts predicting the tokenized bond market could hit $1 trillion by 2028.
$1 trillion just for bonds. Wow.
And then if you broaden that out to all tokenized assets, stocks, real estate, you name it. Some projections go from $2 trillion all the way up to maybe $30 trillion by 2030.
30 trillion. That's transformative if it happens. It raises massive questions about traditional finance.
Doesn't it? I mean, the potential efficiency, the transparency, blockchain could really shake things up.
It could fundamentally change how assets are managed, traded, everything.
And just for perspective, right now, the total value of all RWAs currently tokenized, according to rway.xyz again, is around $18.34 billion.
Okay, so still early days in the grand scheme of things. BUIDL hitting $1 billion is big news now, but compared to those trillion-dollar projections.
Exactly. It shows how much room there is to grow. But that rapid BUIDL growth, it feels like a real signal.
A very strong signal, I'd say. It shows adoption might be accelerating, that big players are getting serious.
So wrapping this up, the key takeaway seems pretty clear. BUIDL's super fast growth isn't just a blip. It really feels like a marker for accelerating adoption of tokenized real-world assets.
Yeah, it suggests traditional finance is really starting to engage with on-chain finance in a meaningful way.
So here's something for you to chew on. If this kind of rapid growth continues, what could the ripple effects be for, the traditional financial systems we use every day, but also for your own investment horizons? Could this tech really make markets more open, more efficient for everyone?
Definitely food for thought.
It is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.